Yeah!
It's Josh Williams here, guys, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 60 for Wednesday, July 4th, 2018. How's everybody doing? Welcome, onesies. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for click and play on this here episode. Happy Canada Day to all my Canadian listeners. That happened over the last few days. And happy 4th of July today, well, tomorrow for me, to all my American listeners. Thank you guys so much for listening as well. This month so far, my downloads have been split, even Steven, between Canada and the great old US of A. So thank you everyone for tuning in, guys. Again, happy Canada Day to Canadian listeners, happy 4th of July to my American listeners, and happy whatever day to everyone listening everywhere else internationally. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for listening, guys. This is, I got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. I got a personal trainer this last week. I chipped a tooth. Hey. Hung out with a bunch of different friends this week. I been working out a lot more. Got to go hang out with my close personal friends at a brunch, and we started the Prove Your Comic competition at Absolute Comedy. Lots of stuff to talk about. So, without further ado, dive right into it. As always, I'm doing a lot of Uber driving. I'm getting, I'm not missing any days, and I'm not starting as late into the morning as I used to. So that's going a little bit better. And I'm working later. So I'm just, I'm doing good in terms of like my finances and stuff like that. It's, I'm working a lot more, working more. And able to do more, which is why I decided, maybe it's time to get a trainer again, because as much as I'm working out, I think it's that bug, you know what I mean? They talk about how once you start exercising, you get addicted to it. Now, I don't think I'm anywhere near that, but I will tell you that I've been doing elliptical at home almost every single day. I'll jump on there, I'll do 20 minutes, and I'll watch an episode of Arrested Development is what I've been watching. And I think, I get off and I'm kind of like, all right, let's do more. I'm glad to be off the machine because my heart's going to explode, but I am enjoying, the exercise, and I'm craving it. And it's, I'm like, all right, what else? Right. And there's just not a whole lot else we could do here at home. But, and I figured, maybe it's time to get a trainer again to I want to work out, but I want to make sure I'm doing it right, because I know that, and I'm not sure if you guys know this, but there's a lot of wrong ways to do exercises. You can want to work out, and you can grab a hold of a handle on a machine and start yanking on it, and you might feel pain, and you might feel some muscles aching, and go, yeah, man, I'm feeling the burn. You might just be doing it wrong and causing yourself pain. Now, you'll be working out muscles, but it's certainly not the ones that machine was designed for. But I'll get into that a little bit later on when I start talking about that. Wednesday of this last week, had an opportunity to speak with my partner at DK Books, and they're having a great time with us. They're a wonderful partner, and as much as it's funny, because as much as they're like a publishing book company, they sort of love my silliness. You know what I mean? In terms of just it's funny. I guess I may as well tell you that story now. I was going to save it for when we got to the the DK portion of the show, But DK has some new books coming out, and the last time they sent me some stuff, they had said, hey, if I wanted to do a giveaway or something like that for some of their titles, to let them know. So I spoke with my contact there, and we started going back and forth about some ideas and things like that. So I guess the first part of the podcast that might be exciting is we're going to be doing some contests for some giveaways for some of the DK books coming out. So and some of the ones that have been out. So we're still working on how to structure that and how to get you guys excited and involved in it. But there's some free books in the future for some of the listeners. So onesies, you guys can get in on that. And in the meantime, why not let me know, what DK books and things like that you guys might be interested in. There's some series that they've got out that I think we're going to be doing some giveaways in, but in the near future, we will be doing some of these. And they've also got a new book. I was going to say, I sometimes I talk so fast, I fucking stutter right over the words and don't even correct them. But yeah, we'll be doing some giveaways in the near future. One of the series that I love, the How It Works series, they're already 6 books deep. They've got another one coming out. And it was so funny. I was talking to him about it, and he's like, when they said that, when they first started partnering with me, they said like one of the guys in the department or whatever was like, they're swearing on that podcast, right? And they're like, yeah, but we trust him. It's not like I'm one of those people. I don't start my podcast. My podcast isn't every week me talking about how much I love Trump or, something controversial. Occasionally I'll wander across subjects. But I don't take hard stances on shit, and I'm not a hateful person. So, and again, one of the reasons that I love, DK as my partner is that they're pretty cool with me. You know what I mean? They're like, what are you interested in? What do you need from us? And they give me carte blanche to talk about stuff the way I want to talk about it. And I appreciate that, and I'm sure if I if I cross any of my partners the way they don't want to be crossed, they'll let me know. But it was funny because we were talking about the fact that, as much as it's a book company, a publishing company, they said they got a new one from the How It Works series called How We're Fucking Up the Earth, which is great because they're like, we're almost taking a page out of your book now and using the profanity in our titles now. So it's really funny, and I really look forward to that book when it comes out. It already seems super fascinating to me, and I love that we had a laugh over that. And they're great partners too. Whenever we post stuff on social media, they retweet it onto their page. So again, regular people who are just interested in books actually get pointed towards the One Man Podcast. So I hope we haven't upset any of their loyal followers to go like, what the hell is that thing that they retweeted? So hey, if you happen to be one of the people who wanders in from a DK retweet, sorry about that, everybody. I hope you enjoy what you hear and whatnot. My regular onesies have come to expect the silliness from me. So, what do we got going on here? What else do we do? So we got, DK contest coming up, guys. Super excited for that. More details to come. I think also last week, it was so funny. Buddy Mike Stork, comedian. Again, there's an episode, an interview episode with him. Feel free to go back and take a listen to that. Stork was in town for a little bit. He was going to come back. He's performing at Absolute Comedy in Kingston. He was last week, I should say. And he was going to come back for Canada Day hangout here, but we didn't see him. So I guess he had a great time in Kingston. I did see him posting pictures of himself and poutine in Kingston. So I know he's a huge fan of that. And he loves his poutine. So I know he had a good time in Canada Day. He's from Baltimore, so it's always nice whenever the American comics come up here and get a chance to sort of see how we do on Canada Day. It is great. But we played some virtual reality last week. So I think while Stork was staying with us, we had an opportunity to let him play some of the VR stuff. It's always fun to put people who've never played VR into VR before, because they haven't. It's definitely a new experience. I don't know if you guys out there have really had a chance to play with virtual reality, but I pick up a new game every now and again, like maybe once every couple of months, and I only ever play the VR too. It seems when I've got company. Like I don't sit down and play. I don't play video games anymore. Like you guys hear how my week is. There's so much stuff going on. Don't have a chance to just put my helmet on and wander off into a world of ghosts and goblins. And a lot of the games that I like are horror games. So I'll buy like these horror VR games. And then I'm a huge pussy, so I'll put them in. And I'm like, it's super fucking scary, and I gotta take it off because I'm stuck in this world of horror. So, anyways, we played some horror games with Stork. He had a blast, and even ended up borrowing Kamar's like VR helmet. But I haven't seen him yet. I haven't seen him come back. So maybe he's not coming back. Maybe Stork's not coming back. Yeah. Sorry guys, a little bit of low energy right now. I'm doing this way late in the day on Tuesday. I meant to do it much, much sooner, but it is hot as hell in Ottawa. We've been going through day after day of just serious heat, and our air conditioning broke yesterday. So it was a crazy hot night, and then the guy came to fix today, and I think it was back for like 2-3 hours, and now it's gone again. So it is hot as hell, and I'm a big dude sweating in this heat. So you might find my energies dip a little bit, and I apologize for that, but just trying to stay alive and get this podcast out on time. Last week I was kind of all over the map with certain things. Like I'm certainly aware, guys, that while I'm doing this podcast, I'm trying to make it so that I've got more things going on and more things that are actually interesting for you guys to hear, and even funny stuff, to go on. I've got a new segment that I'd like to try out with you guys this week and see if there's, anything that maybe gets you on board with it. But I think it's something I've wanted to talk about in material several times in stand-up, and never really found a way to do it, but I think that it might be a really fun little segment on the podcast. But again, get to that a little later on. I'm just trying to spruce this up a little bit in terms of just content, right? I want you guys to enjoy it. And I'd love to know what you guys like about the podcast and whatnot, because basically just reading over what happened in my week, early on in the podcast, I was doing a lot more things, doing some traveling, stuff like that. So there's a lot more interesting stories to tell you. So to just tell you about my week, I went and I did grocery shopping and I played some games and I, Ubered. I want it to be more interesting for you guys. So I'm trying to get more things going on and more stuff to sort of write home about. But yeah, so in terms of one of the things I did this week, I went to Good Life. And I walked in the door. I was just going to do, again, jump on the elliptical there, treadmill, do some minor, weightlifting and stuff like that. And I decided, I was just chatting with the people there and I decided, okay, maybe it's time to get a trainer again. So jumping into that, back to what we were talking about before is, when I first started losing weight a few years ago, and I mean, like I lost weight a reasonable amount and then I, put it back on, lifestyle changes and I put it all back on. But one of the things that I definitely learned and I got value from was I grabbed this package at Good Life, which they still have for anyone who's interested too. Is I grabbed this introductory package where you got a certain amount of personal training, I guess appointments or whatever. I won't call them classes because they're not, but sessions. There you go, personal training sessions with a professional. And what I learned from the guy was, and he's still a friend to today, and he's even got his own company. Him and I are talking on the back end, so you might get an interview with him. We might get some partnerships, something like that going on. Nothing too huge or whatever. But, anyways, my buddy Mike, who was my trainer way back when, one of the things I learned from him was just that there's tons of different, things that are important when you're doing, weight training and stuff like that, when you're trying to build muscle and, burn fat, is that you can do a ton of different exercises, but if your posture isn't right, if you're not doing the right form, and again, you'll get all this from like YouTube videos and stuff like that, but I've already got, I don't have great posture. I've already got, my issues with my hernia and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that when I'm doing it, I'm not causing any more damage to the issues that I have, and that I'm getting the most benefit from the time and effort that I'm putting into it, right? So he showed me a lot of stuff that just, he said to me that, it used to be that he would walk through the gym and try to correct people like they were doing stuff, and he would be like, I try to correct them. He's like, it's just, but at the same time, he's like, people don't want to be bothered, and people think, this becomes a pissing contest and stuff. And it's like, I don't do it. But he goes, there's a lot of people at the gym doing exercises the wrong way. So to even watch the other people that are there doing the exercises, is not a great way of knowing. So, and the machines themselves, sometimes, they'll show pictures, but they don't show necessarily everything that you may want to consider. You know what I mean? Like they'll show you like, this is how you start, this is how you finish. But at the same time, like, you'll know, same thing with the trainer, right? He would say like, where are you feeling it? Are you feeling it, here and here? And I go, no, I'm feeling it in my back. He goes, okay, you're too low. And, he'd adjust the seat and we'd change it. And so that the right parts of the body, because your muscles will do it. You'll move stuff and you'll feel muscles burning, but if it's not the ones designed for the machine, other muscles will compensate. So anyways, all that to say is that the value of a trainer for me is that it's somebody who's with me while I'm doing the workout and making sure that we're adjusting, plateaus. So we're going to work out, we're going to get results. And when we start to plateau and we don't see a difference, we can adjust things and move it up, and I can gain, from his experience. And at the same time, he's there with me when I'm working out to make sure that I'm actually, doing the right posture, the right technique and stuff like that. And then of course I can fine tune it myself over time to learn more and whatnot. So, I'm super excited. The new trainer that I chatted with, super cool dude named Kyle. He's from the same town that I was born in. We had a little bit of rapport. We didn't do any training that day. We were sort of just chatting. I had a limited amount of time, so I was just going to run in and do some exercises and take off. And instead I ended up, spending the time chatting with him and going over sort of what my goals are and kind of, just letting him know what my health issues are and stuff like that so I told them when I was talking to them, I go, I need a trainer who's got a good sense of humor, like I'm fine with, doing the work and, I'm going to do what I'm told, but at the same time, like I'm going to be cracking jokes and I'm going to be trying to have fun. So this person's all fucking business and, you can fucking crush it, bro. I don't want like a giant minotaur douche, So I sat and I chatted with Kyle. He was a good dude. He even came out. I invited him to come out to the first night of Absolute Comedy's Preview Comic competition, which happened last night. And he was there for that. So, we can get into that later on. But I built a great rapport. So even though we haven't had a session yet together, I'm really looking forward to working with this guy. We've been chatting a little bit, and great dude. So I'm looking forward to it. And in terms of having some actual stories and shit to report back to you guys, I will hopefully have some soon. So yeah, I'll tell you when the first training session and all that stuff is a little later on. So yeah, that was a good thing. I did a bunch of food prep that day. Super awesome. I hate doing food prep. It takes me a long time, but at least I have quick food that I can throw in the microwave that's good for me. I've talked about it before. I won't waste your guys' time. I spent a lot of time doing that. Then I went to my buddy Peter's place. My friend Peter. We go way back. I've chatted with him about him before. I'm really hoping, I would love for you guys to send an email. My friend Peter is a paramedic, and I would love, wouldn't you guys love to hear some stories from a paramedic? You know what I mean? Just some of the things that you walk in on and whatnot. So I chatted with him and he's like, yeah, I don't think I could tell any stories because of people's names and stuff, but I want to encourage him to come in and tell some stories. I think if he doesn't say, where he works in terms of areas and what people's names are and stuff, I think he can totally tell stories, and I would love to have him on. So anyways, that's something else. I went to my buddy Peter's place. We hung out, played some games, got to see my buddy Ivan and Stuart as well. I think we were just chilling. We were going to play some board games or whatever, and we ended up just it's one of those things where we just ended up sitting on the couch, drinking, playing, watching YouTube videos, like YouTube fail videos and sorts of other goofy shit. But I don't know. It was cool seeing my buddies there. I chatted with them. They had a spare ticket for Foo Fighters at Blues Fest, so I may want to get a hold of him and find out what day that is. But I'm going to be going to see the Foo Fighters at Blues Fest. Looking forward to that. I saw Petter, my Summersby rep, on Friday. He brought me some of the beautifully delicious watermelon Summersby. So finally able to enjoy and indulge on that a little bit. I had a tasting at the LCBO that afternoon, but it was funny. I was chatting with him about how when I'm doing those tastings, I'm always telling people, if I see them with ciders, I'm like, have you guys had Summersby? Have you guys tried White Summers yet? And funny enough, one of the weeks of the Absolute Comedy Prove Your Comic competition, we are going to be doing a Summersby White Summer tasting at Absolute Comedy. So if you guys are in the Ottawa area, that's how I put two words together, just cut it the middle, shove them apart. If you're in the Ottawa area and you plan on coming to one of the heats of the Absolute Comedy's Prove Your Comic competition, one of the evenings we're going to be giving away some Summersby White Summer stuff as well. Petter has mentioned with me that we're going to be doing some prizes. So Summersby has some speakers. They've actually got, in this conversation we had with them, they have Bose Bluetooth speakers, and Petter's going to try to get me some of those to give away to you guys. So all sorts of really fun stuff coming up in terms of giveaways through my partners. I definitely want you guys to, this is how you can help me. All right. And I appreciate you guys listening. You're already huge helps by listening. Here's how you can help me. When it comes to my partners wanting to give stuff away, if they see a presence, you know what I mean? So if you guys post something on, social media and you tag them and you tag One Man Podcast and you say, love listening, can't wait for the contest, or, hey, Summersby would love some giveaways. If you guys are able to make a little bit, sorry, I wiped my nose, it blocked the mic. If you guys are able to make a little bit of noise, and I don't mean like thousands of messages or anything, but just even something that we can show that there's people listening and people excited for it, they'll push more prizes at us. So it's all about audience reactions. They're going to give stuff because they want to see people, making noise. So just in terms of the business side, that's not the side you really want to broadcast a whole lot. But to be honest with you, that's how it works. DK is seeing that the interest and everything like that. And like I said, I've got a great partnership with them. So they're just like, hey man, if you want to do a giveaway. So, and same with Summersby. Summersby's like, they're going to get us some prizes, but at the same time, if you guys want to see more prizes from my partners, same thing, with Absolute Comedy. Absolute Comedy last year, we gave away a season pass for the Absolute Comedy clubs. You can go to any of the Absolute Comedy clubs, as often as you like with a season pass. Like if that's shit that you guys want to see, hit me up, tag Absolute, take some pictures and make some noise and just, it's stuff that I can take to them and go, look, people are asking for it. Right. So, all right. Public service announcement aside for that. So Summersby's got some cool shit for us. coming up in the near future. Did an LCBO tasting, and of course, this is the Friday before the long weekend. So here in Canada, our country turned 151 on July 1st. And I was in the alcohol store, so you bet your ass that these places were going to be busy, and they most certainly will. I was doing a tasting for Wolfhead, which I've done many times before, and I was in the middle of a conversation with someone, and all I felt was this little sort of crunch in my mouth, like as I was talking, and I was like, "What the?" And I just felt this little piece of something, and of course, it was almost like in slow motion where I felt a piece of something and I was like, what the hell was that? As my jaw was coming down again, and then crunch broke that piece into, smaller pieces. And I just took it off my tongue, looked at it, and it was like a little piece of hard whites. And I was like, what? And I rubbed my tongue, in my mouth, and I found a chip out of my, I don't know what the fuck they're called. And do I really want to Google them right now? It's the two front teeth, whatever the main, the fucking power forwards, the top build cast, front and center on the left. I think it's the 3 and 4 teeth. I could be wrong. Or maybe 4 and 5. But all I know is one of my teeth, the main ones, has a chip, and it's almost, you can't actually see it when you're looking at me, but it's a chip that sort of runs up the side of the tooth. And so all I can feel is that with my tongue. I know there's a trench in the tooth, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, I can just feel that I still feel it right now. So, and of course this happens at like 5:00 on Friday before the long weekend. So it's like, that there's nothing you can fucking do for a few days, which is pretty much always when this shit happens. To me and other people, I'm not the first, I'm not the last, I'm not the worst, but shit happens. And for me, it never happened. I mean, this kind of stuff never happens at a convenient time. But in terms of, like, there's not a fucking thing you can do about it, right? Like, I'm already broke from that goddamn brake job. That impromptu brake job I wasn't expecting. And then a goddamn dental issue. So that sucked. And I have no idea what caused it. Couldn't tell you. All I know is that for the rest of my tasting, even though you couldn't see anything, and I also was trying to take a picture with my phone so I could see myself just to see what the damage looked like. And with your cell phone cameras, you can't get that close to something and focus it, right? So I'm just looking at these blurry pictures of teeth, so I have no way of seeing it. So just talk about, standing there being a marketing person. Hey, how are you guys doing? You guys want to try it? And I'm like, the whole time I'm crazy self-conscious about what the fuck my face looks like right now. So anyways, that was tasting on Friday. Went home, did the elliptical, shower, bed, all that fun stuff. And then first thing Saturday morning, I had another tasting. That one went fine. I think I went and I drove and got some xylitol gum, because apparently xylitol, a healthier alternative to like aspartame and stuff like that. They sweeten a lot of gum with it. And apparently saliva's got a lot of protective stuff for your teeth. So minerals and things like that come into your saliva. So they were like, xylitol is good for your teeth. And if you're chewing gum, of course I Googled a million things about chipped teeth and stuff like that, right? Because that's all you can fucking do is self-diagnose when everything's closed. But I got lucky when I bought the xylitol gum. I actually popped into a dentist's office that was open on Saturday. And I spoke to my man at an appointment. So I'm going to be going to see them this week. So that helped me get through the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about you guys, but just that knowing that you've got an appointment to resolve it, something's going to happen. I find that crazy helpful, because to just sit all week and go, how do I fix this? What am I going to do? Blah, 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 blah. It was just, it was brutal. And what they said to me was that they have a few different options. It's going to cost $170 minimum, of course, to sit down. They're going to have to x-ray me and all this and that. And then they said if they can they called it filing it. If we can file it down, then that doesn't cost anything extra, right? But I'm like, but the trench goes up the tooth. She's like, well, that's why we x-ray it and see, how much we can do. Otherwise, there might be other stuff to fill it and yada, yada, yada. So there's more to the story, but they're like, it's going to be 170 minimum, and then we kind of go from there. There's more to the story, but that's where I was at Saturday. I was like, all right, I got an appointment. I'm going to go back and see them. We're going to get it figured out, but at least I got a ballpark number to work with, right? I'm a comedian, guys. I don't have a dental plan. So for me, it's kind of like, all right, well, whatever this is going to cost, it's coming out of my pocket, right? So anywho, at least I had a number to work with. I did my tasting. That was fine. Nothing special. ran some errands. And then I think at the end of the day, when everything was done, I came back and I was supposed to go to Jazz Fest that night, not Blues Fest. A few people made the mistake, not Blues Fest, Jazz Fest. I got some VIP tickets and everything like that. But when I came back, the roomies were here. We were all just sitting on the back porch. I was definitely going to have a drink. I'd been sitting around alcohol all morning at the tasting. I sat in the back porch. We had a drink, and then everybody, so I think Simon was kind enough. He's like, hey guys, here, I brought us a case. Everyone have a beer. And we sat there, shooting the shit and everything like that, having drinks. And we sort of just went, you know what? Fuck it. Not interested in going to Jazz Fest. We're sitting here. We're already drunk. We're having a good time. It was hot. So we were just like, yeah, parking's going to be a bitch. Why don't we just sit here and enjoy ourselves? And we also I was chatting with my friend Melissa. And I invited her over. She came over, had some drinks with us here, and then we all decided to go see the Late Show at Absolute Comedy. So we went there to see Brian Stollery. We saw Pierre Bro and headliner Mike Patterson. So a super funny show, top to bottom. Brian Stollery and I are going to try to get together sometime this week. We got to find a time that works. But Brian and I are going to try to sit down and do a podcast this week. I should probably try to get him in. Sorry, just thinking of it now. Maybe next couple of days so I can have the episode for you guys Friday. Who knows? We'll see. It's still in the works. I know Brian and I are going to do one. I just don't know if it'll be available for you guys this week. I hope so, because then you can actually use it to go see him. But yeah, so great show. We all had a great time. Amazing day. Sunday, not much, surprisingly, but stores were open. I didn't realize that. Everybody was open Canada Day. Usually, I guess, at least it feels like it, usually they're not open and they're closed on the, and they're closed that day and closed the following day. So this year, a lot of businesses open on Canada Day, beer stores and Costco. So that's exactly what I did. I went to Costco and I grabbed a bunch of stuff, took the, the old lady, took her with me as usual. And we went out. We actually had some Golden Palace egg rolls, which are fucking amazing. I was a good bitch that morning too, guys. One of the things I did last week was I picked up, like granola from Farm Boy because I had some yogurt in the fridge. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe in the morning. Like I said, it's the thing I'm trying to do too, right? With all this self-improvement shit, I'm trying to, I'm trying to make everything better. I'm trying to do those 5 things, right? Which are, by the way, now that we're in July, they've not been going the greatest. I still refer back to the list. They're going well, but again, right when we first started talking about doing these things, takes anywhere between 20 something days and 60 days to do a habit. I think it's gonna be 60. I think I'm gonna report to you guys that I've succeeded in doing them well this month. There's other things that should have been on my list that I'm actually doing more. Like, for example, doing the elliptical every day. If that was on my list, I'd be doing much, much better. But still getting them done. Still very, very happy. It's funny too, the month that I start like consistently brushing my teeth twice a day is the same month I break a tooth. Can I tell you guys something? When I was a kid, and it was like brush 3 times a day. I remember when I was really young, I did not have the best oral hygiene. I'm talking like, 10, 11. I didn't brush 3 times a day. And when I would go to the dentist, never had cavities. Right? And then, this is the opposite. I apologize. I used to brush my teeth all the time. And every time I would go to the dentist, I had cavities. And then I remember when I was like 10, 11, I stopped brushing for like a while. And I don't mean stop brushing like I never brushed, but I mean like in terms of the consistent 3 times a day thing. I would brush when I was young, I'd maybe once a day, kind of. And and then I stopped getting cavities. Now, I don't think there's a direct correlation to it, but I used to joke with myself as be like, there's something in toothpaste that gives you cavities, keep these fucking dentists employed. Dentists recommend cavities. Of course, who wouldn't recommend, or brushing 3 times a day? Yeah, who wouldn't recommend something that's going to fuck you up? But I just think it's funny because I haven't had really any issues with my teeth because like I said, as much as I didn't brush twice a day before, 3 times a day before, I would brush my teeth, once a day. And, I'd floss and clean. And I was always doing oral maintenance. When your mouth flaps as much as mine does, you're always aware of what's in it. And anyways, the point that I'm making is now that I'm taking care of my fucking teeth optimally again, one of them breaks. I'm telling you, there's something there. Somebody tell me a conspiracy theory about toothpaste. I'd love to know. I'd love to know if there's anything out there. I even use the Pronamel toothpaste, so I'm wondering why the fuck my teeth are breaking. Anyways, That would be so funny if me just jawing so much, just the sheer amount of talking has shattered my teeth. That would be funny. That'd be a good one on me, universe. That would be really fucking funny. The hell was I talking about? I kind of went off on a giant tangent there. Yeah, Golden Palace. Oh, right, we're talking about the five things and being consistent. So yeah, I'm gonna have to be stricter this month about doing it every single day. I've come back this week in terms of getting the notes done. That's why I'm looking at a page with tons of shit that we did, but I'm trying to get that done. Be more consistent with that. But yeah, I mean, I've got a list of some stuff that we're gonna do next ones, but I'm not ready to move on yet because I don't want to just start adding more shit, and then it's just this colossal list of shit I never accomplished. So we're gonna do June's again, and we're gonna keep doing it until we get it right, and we're gonna move forward with some other shit. But yeah, so we went out, we got we did the egg roll thing. So that was that's for fuck's sakes all over the map. I was talking about how I went out, I was doing good about eating. So one of the 5 things that I would like to have on a list going forward is no more, morning drive-through. And what I mean by that is like when I drive Uber, one of the things that sort of helps get me out of the door, and I may have mentioned this before, is that 6:30 in the morning, I cannot tear myself out of bed. But the idea that but go get in the car, turn it on, go down and get a, breakfast sandwich at Tim Hortons and a coffee, so that or McDonald's sandwich or whatever. I go have a McGriddles or fucking a breakfast wrap. It's delicious. I'm telling you, morning breakfast drive-through is amazing, right? If you don't like that, we can't be friends. Of course we can. I'll just have to understand you differently. Point is that it's also money spent. And there's some days where the fucking McDonald's app will be like, buy one breakfast sandwich, get another one free. And I'm like, no, how am I losing money? I'm trying to save money. That's saving money right there. So it's like, okay, get up out of bed. Hey, I got breakfast on the go, everything like that. But I mean, I'm spending money. It's calories I don't need. And it's not something I want to be doing. So going forward, one of the things that I'll have on my list, at some point is no more breakfast drive-through. So I was a good bitch last week. And one of the things I did was I didn't get any breakfast drive-through a couple days. And I went to a store and I bought a bag of granola. Cause I'm like, I went there. I think what I started doing, this is what helped, is what I started doing was instead of starting the day off by driving to get breakfast first and then turning on the Uber app, I was like, just turn on the app, get rides. And sometimes you have rides that end near a place where you can get some food. I'm like, I'll just get it then. So that helped. Instead of making sure I grabbed the food, I was like, I'll get food when there's a break. In the meantime, get out there, start earning money right now, right? Earn first and then have the little rewards or whatever later. So one of the mornings I was at one of those, I was at a grocery store where they do those little yogurt cups, right? Where they got the blueberries, strawberries, and granola. And those are fucking amazing. They're absolutely amazing. They're cheap. They're like $3-4, right? So it's cheaper than breakfast sandwiches and stuff like that elsewhere. And they're better for you. So I was like, okay, that was awesome. So later the week, I ended up, deciding to get a bag of granola from one of these places. In fact, I actually picked that up on Saturday when I was doing my tasting. My tasting was right next to one of these stores. So I went and I grabbed the bag of granola and I was like, God, where are these hiccups coming from? I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my yogurt in the morning. I picked up some yogurt from Costco today because I ran out of the other stuff over the weekend. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do a cup of yogurt, some granola, put some hemp hearts in there. And next time I get a chance, I can't do Costco fruit right now. It's just too much. You know what I mean? And I got to cut down on the sugar and the fruit too. Fuck's sakes, trying to be healthy is a pain in the ass, isn't it? Like even talking with you guys about the coupons and stuff you get. Like I find right now, my biggest time where I lapse into shit food is when I'm drinking. And I am drinking more now than I ever have before. Probably because I have so much alcohol. I'm around alcohol all the time. And anyways, guys, so many fucking piles of issues to go through right now. It's like a yard sale of issues. Lots of alcohol. So I find when I drink, there's calories in the booze. So now I'm drinking more. I'm getting the calories from the booze. I'm also, when I drink, that's when, I'll be like, oh, well, maybe I could, get a pizza. Pizza's cheap. That's the struggle. I've actually eat a lot less pizza now than I used to. It used to be like pizza was a thing. Now it's like, oh, if I don't get a pizza and I get a, drive through, I'll eat fucking breakfast sandwiches any time of day. I will fuck up an egg McMuffin. I don't care what time it is. My point being, guys, sorry, I'm trying to fucking rope the horses and bring them back in. The point is, when you're trying to save money and you're trying to eat healthy, it's fucking hard because one of those things is going to be sacrificed for the other. You know what I mean? Like, I'm driving down the street watching Uber and I'm seeing signs for Harvey's burger chain for any of my international listeners. And it's like, right now, 2 original burgers for $6. I'm like, that's a fucking great deal. I'm so hungry right now. That's a wicked fucking deal and a great price. But guess what? Not healthy. So you sacrifice the health. Or I go, I'm going to get one of these fucking, I'm going to have a good meal, a healthy place. You go in and it's fucking $12 for, something healthy like sushi. And even sushi's not that healthy, but you know what I mean? Like, you try to get something that's like, oh, this is a nice salad or whatever, and it's $9 for this little thing. Like, that's fucking expensive. And it's not even the amount of calories that I'm allowed to have. I can have more, but then I got to add this or that. And it's just insane to try to balance the money and the healthy. So I don't know. I'm still working on it. And I'm, as usual, sharing my boring findings with you guys just to let you know how things are going. But as it stands right now, I have seemingly cut out the morning stuff in terms of the, getting the drive-through breakfasts. I'm still getting coffee, but I cut down. I went from drinking double doubles, Lord knows how long ago, within the last year. I went from drinking double doubles, which had a lot of calories in them, right, to drinking like 1 sugar, 1 cream. I cut the calories in half. Now I've been quite some time where it's just wherever I go, it's 1 cream. And today was the first day, maybe it's the second day, I drank my coffee black. So trying to take calories out there. These are little wins. They're little wins. I'm not patting myself on the back, but it's a series of like cutting shit out. Like I said, I've been drinking more, so it's not like, still getting my calories. But the old me would have been like, yeah, just eat what I want when I want it, and who cares how many calories it is, and and then you end up a big fat fuck like I am. So it's now I'm trying to turn shit around. So I went out and I bought I have more yogurt today. I bought some little plastic cups, like clear cups with some plastic spoons, because part of me is trying to not, it's the morning rush, right? Again, earning the money is important. Getting my ass out the door as fast as possible is important. So my next step for the mornings is I got these cups and spoons. I'm going to just throw a few spoonfuls of yogurt in the cup, handful of granola on top, boom, plastic spoon in, out the fucking door. So take it with me. I don't have to worry about, a bowl or slowing down, because that's the thing that worries me in the morning, is just taking too long before I leave. Work on getting my coffee, ready to go the night before, sitting in the machines. I can just go downstairs, boom, get the coffee in a cup, get out the door with my yogurt, my coffee, and Bob's your uncle for a few hours. I also want to make the habit, and I think I did mention this before, but I want to make the habit so that, because you'll find when I drive Uber, guys, there's really not that many interesting stories too. Every person who's like, oh, you're a comedian? You must get lots of great stories from Uber. No, I don't. It's early morning. We're all tired. You guys don't want to go to work. I don't want to be working. Nobody's doing anything funny in the morning. And the thing too is, because I'm tired and because it's boring, I will find ways, but I will be very eager to stop working. You know what I mean? I will be very eager to, like, okay, when it sits dead for like 15 minutes, I'm like, I can just go home. I kind of made enough, whatever. So what I want to do is I want to get up. Like I said, no more drive through. 1 win. Make my healthy shit myself. Another win. Go out and Uber. Another win. And then I'm going to make it so that as soon as I'm done Ubering, my next destination is the gym. So if I decide that I'm going to be quitting, if I'm going to log off Uber sooner, then it's like, all right, you're going to the gym. So I'm hoping that might encourage me to stay out Ubering longer, right? To earn more, because as a not wanting to go to the gym. And then alternatively, if I stop Ubering, well, then I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get my exercise on, right? Get my sweat on, and have some good things there. So, I mean, again, I haven't done that yet. My gym bag is in the car. It's staying in the car because that's where it needs to be so that I always have it. There's no excuses to not go. Blah, blah, blah. This is the shit I'm working on. All right. And I'd love to know what you guys are going through, in terms of like, is anybody else out there doing the trying to eat healthy thing or whatever? I'm also amongst all of this trying to fit fucking comedy writing back into it. I'm making more notes, I'm getting more premises and stuff like that, but to sit down, and part of my day is to stop what I'm doing, go out of the house, because the house is very distracting. You got things you can do around the house. Go out, sit down, and write. I'm trying to build more material and stuff like that. And I say I'm trying. I'm not trying. I'm focused on the health stuff, but at the same time, I need to start working on comedy. I heard a podcast. My good friend Trent McClellan was interviewing Pete Zedlacker. So I have interviews with both of them. If you guys go through the list, you can listen to me interview Trent. You can listen to me interview Pete. But I was listening to the two of them having a conversation, and Pete was at a point where he was saying, like, when, there's amateurs out there that will call themselves comedians, and he's like, they've only done a few open mics and stuff like that. He goes, but you're not a comedian. You've just done some amateur shows. You're not touring around. You're not doing this and you're not doing that. Because you're not a comedian. You're just a hobbyist. Like he goes, if you have a day job, you know what I mean? If you have another job, then you're that, and you do comedy on the side. Well, I make a lot of my money from comedy, but to be honest with you, I have a day job and I spend more hours a week being an Uber driver or being a tasting monkey. So I guess for me, it hit a bit of a nerve, because as much as I'm like, oh, I'm a comedian, I am. And I feel that very strongly. But at the same time, I have put my passion on the back burner for a long time. So I'm at a point now where I'm very, shit or get off the pot is the feelings that I'm sort of having on stuff. So I don't know if that comes through, guys, every week when I'm talking about this and that. I'm trying to get shit organized, to move forward with something, so we're going to start getting those numbers off the scale. We're going to start fucking reducing them credit cards or whatever it is in terms of the finance stuff. Cause that weighs on you, right? Like, it's not very interesting to listen to, but I'm a human being and, and debt stresses us all out. Right. So, it's hard to be like, I'm going to go out and work out and, make a bunch of meal prep when you're like, well, fuck, you need to be making some money, man. Like, you can go and work out, but what's that going to make you? It's also hard, like I said, too, when you go to the grocery store and you want to buy healthy shit. It's fucking expensive. You're like, well, I'm going to blow $50 on 3 meals. Like, or if I know that I'm going to be busy the next 2 days, like, you guys know my schedule, I'm all over the fucking place. So if I go buy a bunch of stuff, healthy, organic, yeah, it's great for you. But if I'm not going to be home for the next 2 days, the shit's going to go bad. So I buy it for today. I don't know. And that's where the meal prep comes in. Okay, well, I can do meal prep, but that took me, an hour and a half to do that. And I don't really have, I'm envious of people with a routine, and I'm sure that there's ways that I can make one, but my stuff is so all over the map for a lot of things that it's very difficult. But at least you'd know, like, well, every day I'm home between 5 and, when I go to bed at, like, let's say 10. So, you can chop up that time and sort of do something with it. Anyways, I'll figure it out, guys. I'm not going to make you listen to me fucking do mental backflips trying to figure out my shit out. That's what I do in between shows. But I'm a work in progress. We all know that, right? So I ended up having, on Sunday after I ran all those errands and got all that shit, had a little barbecue here at the house. I was out with my mom, so I invited her and my good friend and podcast listener, Mike, was with us as well. We had some burgers. Mikey was telling me a bunch of stories from when he went to Los Angeles recently. Mike had an opportunity to meet a lot of different comics, play a lot of great rooms, make some great connections and networking. I don't want to tell his stories for him. I'm actually interested in maybe sitting down with him and we'll do a podcast, and Mikey can tell you guys himself how the experience was. So I think that's also something that I'll do in the not too distant future. But Mike and I also talked about maybe the two of us going back down sometime in the fall to see if we can get on some stages and fuck around. But that would also be something, speaking of just sort of, rekindling my passion and whatnot. It would be huge to go down there and just, see the big fucking dogs doing their thing. And this is like, comics that you see on TV that are just popping in to do a small little 10-minute set to work out new shit. I need to be doing stuff like that here in Ottawa because those stages are available to me. and I just haven't written anything. I could go out and do comedy and tell jokes that I already know work, but I'm not developing anything new, and that's kind of where I'm at. So I need to get back in there, and I think something like that would be a nice a little jump start. Maybe, find that hunger, find that passion again. Excuse me, guys. It's still hot as fuck here. Hot as fuck. So we had a good night. And again, as usual, played some board games. We had a good time though. And then that was my Canada day, actually. Running errands, barbecuing, with just a few people and playing some board games. You know what? I had a great fucking time. Happy 151. I did not have to suffer through the crowds. It was funny. Jason and Noreen went golfing on Canada Day, dying in the heat. They were the only ones in the golf course, which I thought was hysterical. Lets you know how smart Jay is for plans. Oh, you want to go somewhere nobody wants to go? That's Jay. On Monday, yesterday, my good friends Jimmy and Mika, they too have an episode of the One Man Podcast available to listen to. So I went out with, we had a little brunch. So Jimmy and his lovely wife, Alex, Mika, his lovely wife, Mel, and myself at the party of one, me over here. We went over to their place, had a nice, super, super nice brunch. Thank you so much to them. I know Mika's a listener. I appreciate it very, very much. And we just had a good time. Had some drinks, shot the shit. They got a little bit of good news, but for now, close to the chest, not my place to say. So very, very excited for them. And, we had some real talk. We always get into it with my friends. I love these people. I don't get to see them as much as I often do. So sort of just a little bit of a catch up with them in terms of, same thing, stuff I'm working on, things they got going on. So it was great. I spent the whole day with them. Jimmy and Alex had to leave earlier, but it was a great time. Alex, I mentioned that I would tell you guys what was going on with the dental stuff. Alex was an employee at the office that I went to on Saturday. She works at the same company, different place now, but she was telling me that, if it were her that saw me, she's like, I'm not going to take an x-ray or anything like that. Like all that chargy stuff. She's like, I'm just going to look and see it and I'm going to polish it. And I was like, polish it. I go, oh, is that what you guys call the filing? She's like, yeah. And I go, isn't that a funny, I love how businesses do this. Like the one chick was like, yeah, we're going to file it down, right? Because other people said you can get it filed. And I was like, yeah, I get that. You fucking grind the tooth down. No worries. Makes sense. Buff a dent out or whatever the hell it is, right? Grind it down, then you don't see it anymore. It's how you fix paint chips. But she's like, yeah, I would polish it. It's funny how they changed that into the term polishing. Pretty sure polishing isn't fucking grinding. Anyways, whatever. It's cute. She's like, I would just polish it out. She's like, and she goes, and if they say to you that they'll put like some filling in it, she's like, don't, right where that is. She's like, if you put it in, it's just going to come out and it's a waste of money. So she's like, just get them to polish the little chip out and you should be fine. So it was cool to talk to her, get someone who was a friend to, let me know their thoughts on it. So yeah, great time. And then last night, prove your comic competition. So I drove back, shower change, all that fun stuff, and hosted the first night of the 5th anniversary of the Prove Your Comic competition. That's where the brand new comedians, guys, people who are young hopefuls, people who still have that hunger and passion that I've long since lost, are coming out to start their stuff, trying to show Jason. It's funny. The level of fear that they have of Jason, because he's the owner of Absolute Comedy, whereas like I will stand in my underwear and Jason will stand in his underwear and we will be at 2:00 in the morning yelling at each other and insulting each other. I'll jump into bed with him and be annoying to his fucking face. And I every now and again I was always saying to him, I'm like, it's so hilarious to me that there's people who are actually afraid of you who would never have the balls to fucking smack you in the cock or whatever it is that I do. It's nice being close with your agent like that, where you just piss them off. Anyways, yeah, so we did the Prove Your Comic competition. There are 9 great comics. As a matter of fact, while as we speak right now, for at least for me, you guys will be hearing this on Wednesday, but as we speak right now, they are on stage vying for the audience votes. So on Monday, 9 comics get whittled down to 5. Those 5 guys who moved forward last night are on stage right now, trying to suck up the audience votes. So I hope they're having a great time, and it's a great thing. The grand prize winner of this whole competition wins spots at all 3 Absolute Comedy clubs, Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, and they get paid for it. and not only that, like I'll tell you guys this, just as a young comic, it's hard to get stage time, quality stage time. You can find amateur nights all over the city, but to find real quality stage time is difficult. So what's going on right now? Like I said, there's 5 guys that are going to perform tonight and tomorrow. All right. 5 that moved forward from last night, and they perform tonight and tomorrow. So Wednesday night, if you guys are listening to this, you can actually see them, tonight, your tonight, whatever. And, you go and you see what they do, you vote for them, whatever. But the idea is that one of them, from their combined scores from the Tuesday and Wednesday shows, moves on to the finals, which is the first week in August. Okay. So one person's moving on from this week. Then next week, same thing. 9 comics on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 of them, 9 comics down to 5 on Monday. And then those 5 will perform Tuesday and Wednesday. The audience votes. One of them moves on to the finals. And then at the last week in August, okay, so there's 4 weeks of that. All right. So there's 4 finalists, but there is a wild card. So the person that Jason saw that maybe didn't come in first place from the audience or whatever, but he sees something in them that he wants to put them in the finals. He has one wild card that he gets to pick and put in the finals. So there are 5 comedians in the finals, which is the first week of August. Okay. And that, they perform every single night. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday and Sunday. So getting back to what I was saying about finding quality stage time, you got these guys who might get on once a month if they're lucky at Absolute Comedy or their competitor to get quality stage time. Well, now, for likely the first time in their careers, they're performing night after night after night. So if you have a bad set, you get back on stage the next night and fine tune it right away. If you're doing the Friday or Saturday shows, you can have like a shitty set the early show, and you get to get right back up on the horse for the late show and tweak something or adjust something or whatever it is. So it's like working out, right? If you get to the gym, 8 times in a week, you're going to be really strong after that week versus exercising once a month, So great opportunity for them. And I should take this opportunity to mention that the same competition is happening in Toronto. Only instead of it going Monday through Wednesday, it goes Tuesday through Thursday. But the same process is happening there. So prove your comic competition. The Ottawa Mondays, the Ottawa preliminary nights are hosted by yours truly. So I was there last night hosting, had a great time. It was a great show. And we had so many judges out doing a great job. Great time, I gotta say. So that was nice. Today was just the regular shit. I did Ubering. I ran some errands. I picked up more stuff, as I mentioned, more things to help make my food prep and everything easier. I did some snack prep. I bought like some really healthy like vegetable chips, and I bought an air popper. Fucking Costco, man. It's like a $25 air popper that was like on sale for like $9. I think it was like clearance. And I was like, fuck it, I'll get an air popper. I'll pop like popcorn with no butter or anything like that on it. Maybe that'll just be a simple snack I can throw in a bag you have in the car for when I'm driving or something. Anyways, so I did that. I portioned everything. I bought these vegetable chips. I used a scale, portioned them out, 200 calorie snacks into Ziploc bags. Boom, ready to go. So more just, again, spending the time doing the prep. And then, that's been my day. I passed out in the fucking heat and I read my books. Got the articles ready. I read my DK book, and I'm super excited to share that with you guys. But that's it. That's the fucking the thing that we're at so far. It's been a fun week. A lot of new stuff. A lot of, I hope, progress, or at least the catalyst for progress. I'm very, very excited. I was chatting with some friends about that make your bed thing. I think I told you guys about that a while back, but. Making your bed is starting the day off with the the process of completing tasks. If you wake up and you make your bed, your day's already started with completing tasks. Except for me, if I woke up, the first thing I have to do is take that goddamn oxygen mask off my face from my apnea machine. So I wake up the first thing I do in the morning is feel incapable of the simplest task, which is breathing. And I have an idea for a new segment. All right, I was going to talk about something else, but I'm an hour in and I haven't even got to the sponsors yet. So, and I really do want to just go to sleep. It's hot and I feel awful. And I want to jump in the shower and I want to go down. I haven't done the elliptical yet today too, right? So I want to go do that. But I thought of a little idea for a little segment, something that I wanted to talk about in stand up, and I never really found a way to sort of either get into it, and it doesn't feel long enough to be the kind of thing that I could really make anything out of on stage. But it does feel like something that would be fun for us to talk about. And that's minor annoyances and pleasant surprises. Now, we talked about pet peeves a while back, and I didn't want to do that as a whole, like, negative, just like, oh, and here's something else that pisses me off, and this pisses me off, right? And I think that pet peeves going to go into something deeper. So I had this idea for minor annoyances and pleasant surprises. I would love to play around with you guys and see the idea. So the idea with the minor annoyances are things like just something that like is like a mega frustration. Like, for example, just your shoelace. You ever been walking and you stepped on your own fucking shoelace, and then when you moved your other foot, you untied your own fucking shoe? Something that doesn't ruin your day. It's just a minor annoyance. All right? Things like that. And the one that I was going to use for this week, a minor annoyance that this just drives me crazy. It's, again, like minor annoyance is something that pisses you off. Like, what the fuck? But it's gone like 5 seconds later. 5-10 seconds later, you're over it. But in that moment, it is so fucking annoying. I'll give you the example is just, for me this week is when you go to use a pen, and the pen has no ink in it. Now that shit happens, no biggie. The minor annoyance is when you watch somebody use a pen that's got no ink in it, and then they put it back in the fucking cup or pot or drawer or whatever it is. Throw it the fuck out or fix it. If it's like, the ink's dry and it needs wet, lick your fucking finger and rub the pen on your finger to get to revive it or whatever. But like, why just put it back? All you're going to do is repeat that same fucking thing. That to me is a minor annoyance. But I in that, for those 5 to 10 seconds, I want to choke the person that put it back. Again, not every time you grab a pen and it doesn't work, is it the fault of someone else? It might have just been the end of that pen. But the idea is when you see somebody do it and you watch them put it back. This just happened to me all the time when I was at Bell. We need pens all the time for signing contracts and stuff like that. Same with TELUS. We need pens. We need this stuff. You watch someone try to use a pen, it doesn't work, and they put it right back in the cup. I'm like, I could kill them. I could kill them. But then there's pleasant surprises. There's also pleasant surprises. So again, tiny little things that for a moment you just feel absolute fucking joy. It's fleeting. It doesn't last. It goes, it sticks, or it comes and goes just as quick as the rage from the minor annoyance. But it's here nonetheless. For me, I get pleasant surprises. Nice enough that finding a parking spot right near the entrance of the place you're going on a day where the place it's always busy. Like, again, if I get a parking spot right near the front of Costco, oh, am I ever happy? I'll just go and go, oh, spot right fucking here. Super nice, pleasant surprise. You know what I mean? Trying to think of another example of a pleasant surprise. I don't know. Maybe something you were going to buy is on sale. Just show up. Oh, it's a couple bucks. Nice little pleasant surprise. I think our weeks, there's good shit and bad shit happens to us, but I think over the course of a week, there's cases of these little, minor annoyances and pleasant surprises. So of course, it works out to a funny little acronym of M.A.P.S. So I don't know if we're going to use the acronym or not, but I would love to hear from you guys. Just, if you have a week or something like that, sometime in the week, just feel free to send me in contact@onemanpodcast.com. Send me something that you find to be a minor annoyance or a pleasant surprise. I'm trying to think if there's any more of them this week that happened to me. I think that having to change the remotes, like the batteries in the remote, that's annoying. You know what I mean? Just, again, a minor annoyance. Go to use something like, oh, for fuck's sakes. You ever like lay down in bed, get comfy, and you left your phone across the room? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? You gotta untuck it. I mean, these are, again, just minor annoyances, not life-changing, just minor annoyances, So little things like that. Sometimes you even have to fucking put your passwords in. I hate all the apps that I use. I have to put my fucking passwords back in all the time for some reason. I'm like, didn't I just tell you to remember me? Right? So you just type in a password, but it's annoying. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Is I'm going to try to add a new little segment here, and just once a week I will tell you guys one minor annoyance and one pleasant surprise. I don't know why. I don't know why I can think of many more minor annoyances than I can pleasant surprises, but something cool is going to happen. I think just when you think you're out of something. I know I've gone to the fridge sometimes to get something to eat and open the fridge, and I realize, oh shit, yeah, I packed leftovers from that meal. I have leftovers. Yeah, little pleasant surprise. Little pleasant surprise. Oh boy. Anyways, so that's that. All right. Let's start talking about other things, right? So that's summarize. Elliptical every day, eating better, more prep, back to the gym, got a trainer now. You know, we're going to turn this fucking thing around, and more attention spent on starting to write more for comedy. Okay. That's where I'm at, guys. As always, my partners at Portable Press, Uncle John's Bathroom Readers. I found a good article from, of course, this one is from, Uncle John's Bathroom Reader plunges into Canada, because we just had Canada Day go by. And I found this one particularly interesting because I was so much, paying attention to food and things like that. And of course I wanted to keep it patriotic. So over the last week, I've been changing around food, and I found an article called Victual Visionaries. So food is often, sadly, overlooked when talking about inventions and discoveries, yet we all have to eat every day. Here we raise our glasses to the Canadian accomplishments in gustatory science. I hope I said that right. Pablum. Still used today as baby food, pablum was the first pre-cooked and dried infant cereal to hit the market, and it's 100% Canadian. In 1931, 3 doctors at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto developed a cereal made of easily digested grains and fortified with necessary vitamins and minerals. They called it pablum after the Latin pabulum, meaning food. The Mead Johnson Company marketed it, and the doctors insisted that for the first 25 years after the sale, the Toronto Pediatric Foundation got a royalty for every package sold. So there we go. Poutine. What? Poutine, everyone. Poutine, whatever you want to say. Putin, not a thing. Not a thing at all. There are several claims to the origins of this dish, but most likely poutine, meaning mess in French, was invented in Warwick, Quebec in 1957. Rushing to fill a trucker's order for fries and cheese, restaurant worker Fernand Lachance quickly threw together a bag of French fries and cheese curds, dumping them all in the same bag. As the trucker left, Lachance warned, "It's going to make a damn mess." For good measure, diners eventually added gravy. The trucker liked it, and more than 50 years later, that mess is still one of Canada's most popular fast foods. So how about that? Poutine means mess, and messy it is. And it's also funny here, they got a typo in the book. It says the tricker liked it, which is funny because truckers tend to like prostitutes who turn tricks. How funny is that? All right, instant mashed potatoes. Canada's largest vegetable crop was transformed in 1962 when Edward Asselbergs, a Canadian Minister of Agriculture employee, turned the familiar potato into instant mashed potato flakes. Asselberg developed the dehydrated flakes to provide an easy-to-carry food for military rations and for campers. Canola oil. In the 1970s, Canadian doctor Richard Keith Downey and University of Manitoba researcher Balder R. Stephenson, that's the middle initial, the word all, created an edible version of the rapeseed plant, a toxic member of the mustard family. Because the new crossbred variety was cheaper to grow than other oil crops, it was soon in high demand. In 1978, scientists at the Rapeseed Association of Canada changed the name from the fairly unpalatable rapeseed oil or rape oil to canola, a blend of Canada and oil. Hey, so that's where the word canola comes from. And yeah, I would see definitely rape oil being very misleading. Bloody Caesar. The Bloody Caesar cocktail was invented in 1969 at an Italian restaurant inside the Calgary Inn, now the Westin Hotel. Bartender Walter Chell was asked to invent a cocktail to commemorate the restaurant's opening. Taking cues from the classic Italian dish linguine in clam sauce and riffing off the Bloody Mary, he mixed clam juice, tomato juice, and oregano with vodka and called it the Caesar. When a British man sitting at the bar declared, "That's a bloody good Caesar," the drink's name was born. Today, the Bloody Caesar is Canada's national cocktail. Ginger ale. Back around the turn of the 20th century, Toronto pharmacist John L. McLaughlin was busy making a fruit and herb flavored soda water that he sold to local drugstores for their soda fountains. In 1904, he developed a ginger flavored soda he later called Canada Dry Pale Ginger Ale. Although some people argue that ginger ale had been invented 50 years earlier in Ireland, McLaughlin's distinctive dry recipe, combined with an innovative bottling technique that pumped out large numbers of sealed bottle ready for sale, put the drink on the map. And another little section here. April Fool's Newfie is what it says. Newfoundland, the last holdout to Confederation, was scheduled to join Canada on April 1st, 1949. As the date approached, though, somebody realized that April 1st was April Fool's Day. Since many citizens of the province to be were unhappy about losing their independence, the joke on us symbolism of joining on April Fool's seemed like a bad idea. Supposedly, that's why the signing was moved to take place immediately before the expiration of March 31st, 1949. And finally, the running feat of this one on this article is Canada's last duel was in 1873, but its last fatal duel was in 1838 in Verdun, Quebec. Lawyer Robert Sweeney shot and killed a man who sent a love letter to his wife. And that, my friends, is Uncle John's bathroom meter. Plunges into Canada is that edition, guys. As always, my partners at portablepress.com. Check out what they've got. These books are great. Fun little ways to read a little bit, learn a little something, and move on with your life. All right. And as always, of course, guys, as I mentioned before, my partners at Absolute Comedy have got the Prove Your Comic competition happening at both the Ottawa and Toronto clubs, but there are 3 clubs. All right. And here's some information about all of them.
Absolute Comedy is the best live stand-up comedy from across North America, with locations in Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, Ontario. These comedians have been featured on Just for Laughs, Netflix, Comedy Central, CBC's The Debaters, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, The Comedy Network, and much, much more. Go to absolutecomedy.ca to see this week's lineup. Planning a night out is easy with dinner and show packages, available at all locations. Live comedy is a great choice if you're organizing a celebration, fundraiser, company outing, or corporate event. Want the show brought to you? They'll send comedians to your venue with performances tailored to your event, creating a night of laughs your guests will love and won't soon forget. So for showtimes, ticket prices, gift certificates, special shows, and more, head to absolutecomedy.ca. Again, that's absolutecomedy.ca for the best live stand-up comedy from across North America.
And as I mentioned, guys, you will be able to, one of the weeks in Ottawa, the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the full week of that heat, be able to try Summersby White Summers. I will be the one dispensing them, huh? How about that? So come on out and see me host on the Monday night and come taste you some Summersby.
The sun gives life to the orchard. The orchard gives life to the apple. The apple gives life to Summersby. Summersby is a delicious sweet taste of sunshine, imported across the ocean all the way from Denmark. The people in Denmark are smarter, and so are you if you drink Summersby. With flavors like apple, blackberry, pear, elderflower lime, red rhubarb, and a taste as regal as this fake accent, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And now you can try them all in the Summersby Mixer Pack, available wherever fine beverages are sold. So go on and try for yourself the crisp, refreshing taste of Summersby. Your taste buds deserve it. Please drink resplendently.
And there must be somebody else, isn't there always? Oh, of course, my partners at DK, everybody. This week I read a really, really cool book. Again, it's more of a reference, and even encyclopedia is a better way for it. But I read the Tool Book, guys. The Tool Lover's Guide to More Than 200 Hand Tools. Choose, use, maintain. Has a great foreword by Nick Offerman, which I found was absolutely hysterical. He's equating his love of wizards and things like that. He's I guess a fan of what do you call that? Fantasy? Sci-fi, and not really sci-fi, but more fantasy stuff. And he was saying how a wizard's wand and a craftsman tool can both create, very cool outcomes and things like that. I that was great. And if you don't know who Nick Offerman was, he's actually got a new show coming out. It's not listed here, but he does have a show where, crafting and things like that. He's an actor. He was in 21 and 22 Jump Street. He was also in, if you saw the movie The Founder, which was absolutely great. I know I've spoken about this on the podcast before with Michael Keaton about the McDonald's. He played one of the McDonald's brothers. So, Nick Offerman writes the foreword in this book. And this book is super, super cool. So again, it's not like a how to use power tools or anything like that. It's not an instruction manual. What this is it's an appreciation for what different tools can do in terms of their craftsmanship. So, to give you an example, all right, I'm going to read you guys what the sections sound like. So they actually have tools for measuring and marking as a section. The tools for cutting and chopping, tools for fixing and fastening, the tools for striking and breaking, the tools for digging and groundwork, tools for tools for shaping and sharpening, and the tools for finishing and decorating. Fuck, I suck at reading, eh? There's me being extra Canadian too. Fuck, I suck at reading, eh? Holy shit, bud. I really, really enjoyed reading this, and because as always, beautiful imagery. Right? DK does that. But so before we even get into the sections where it starts talking about the tools individually, as always, they go deeper, right? Because you could make a book that's just a bunch of pictures of tools and little explanations of them and go, oh, it's a really cool book. It's a fascinating little resource. But as always, they go way deeper than just giving a little explanation. They give you other sections. So the very beginning of the book in the introduction, they actually have a plan your work area, which gives you different tips and tricks and things like that on, space, safety, organization, things like that. And of course, there's all pictures that show them. Absolutely love that. There's a section on how to choose a tool belt. So depending on what kind of job you're doing, what the right tool belt would be, because sometimes, you're going to be on a ladder. You don't want to have too much weight, or other times where you're somewhere where you're going to have a lot of stuff available to you. You're not going to want to come out of a crawl space or things like that. Now, not all this stuff is exactly said, but just I'm giving you illustrations as to why picking a proper toolbox would be necessary. If you're in a small crawl space, and you got a tool belt that holds two things. Well, if you're doing a lot of work, you're going to need something that carries more. And so it's cool that they give little explanations and things like that. There's a how to choose a toolbox section. Again, the right toolbox for the job. How to choose a tool shed, right? Do you want a metal shed or a wooden shed? And that's, again, just the introduction, right? Just these sections here for the introduction before they've even gotten into the actual tools themselves. But I can't, every section, all right, of the sections, for example, the first section is the tools for measuring and marking. Prior to going into the description of the tools and stuff like that, there's a history of measuring and marking tools. So it will give you the history of who was using what first. So it just lets you know, here's where calipers came from. Here's where the Renaissance divider came from. Egyptian frame levels, things like that. Is just, like, I'll give you an example. Here's the yard, right? A yard is a unit of measurement. It says in 1305 in England, Edward I defined the yard as the distance from the tip of his nose to his outstretched thumb. That was yard, 3 feet, 0.9 meters. So there you go. So just little things like that, pieces like histories of measurement, stuff like that. And then, of course, then you get into all the beautiful illustrations, not illustrations, all the beautiful imagery of all the different tools that they have in just that section, explanations of them, how they're used, how to maintain them. It's absolutely it's gorgeous, guys. There's me swearing again. Thank God they love me as much as I love them. Because any other sponsor would be like, what, you have to swear? You're talking about a book, you fucking animal. And I don't know. There's no sense in me going chapter by chapter explaining everything. All right. If you are a craftsman, if you have an appreciation for tools, there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't have this book. Okay. It's a great book describing tools, great imagery. It might even take, cause it's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reference something I said earlier. It's almost like if you're doing a workout and you're not using the right posture, is whenever you're crafting and creating, there's always different things that you can do, right? And you might be able to use a different tool and get the same result, but maybe if you look at something like this and you go, oh, I didn't realize I could do the same thing easier with the, correct, method or posture. See how I tie it together there? So this is a great book for things like that because it'll show you how to use other tools to achieve similar results, and gets you a little more in depth. You never know; you might be stuck someday in the wilderness, need to craft something, yourself. A little, whip something up like a monkey tying a rock to a stick. I mean, I've never seen them actually do that, but that's the theory as far as theory goes. So, from DK, guys, my partners at DK, the Tool Book, a tool lover's guide to more than 200 hand tools. Choose, use, maintain. Please check it out. All right, on Facebook and Twitter, I'm gonna have the picture up there with a link to where to get your copy. You can pick it up on Amazon or Indigo, whatever you like. So, just have a peek at it. They're great. They're great books. They always are, but this tool book is very, very beautiful. It's, I honestly didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but once I was going through it, I think the really big thing that DK has for them is not just the fact that they've got good information, but I'm telling you, their imagery, the way they can take stuff and just keep you engaged, in this social media age of, just look at something and move on. Look at something. You can't sit for 2 seconds, and be bored without pulling out your phone. So the fact that they've got a really good visual connection with the information. Their information is good, it's interesting, and it keeps you tied in with just, you can't wait to turn the page because there's going to be something else beautiful on the next page. All right, Tool Book, you know me, I love these fucking guys. And I can't wait to see what else they got. I got more. I'll have another book for you guys next week. But in the meantime, check out the Tool Book. It's outstanding. Right. And of course, my two friends who are listeners, Mika and Jim, they're both in the trades. I really do believe that you guys would love this book because it's absolutely beautiful, and it has an appreciation for hand tools. There's information about drills and stuff in there too. Like they talk about drills and the evolution from the hand drill to the electric drill. But yeah, great book for anybody who appreciates craftsmanship, and crafting. So that's it, my partners. Absolute Comedy, Portable Press, Summersby, DK, thank you guys so much. Coming up this week, guys, today, the day that you guys are listening to this, Wednesday, I have a dentist appointment. So I'm going to go find out what the fuck we're going to do about that. And I cannot wait to share some good results with you guys because I do not want to have this chip in my fucking face anymore. As always, I'm going to be hitting up the Uber all week. I'll let you guys know how the the granola and yogurt goes. I'm going to hit the ground running with it and hope that I can maintain. But I'm looking forward to it. Thursday, I do my first session of personal training, and I can't wait to work it with Kyle. Let you guys know how that goes. I can't wait to start, posting some results. I'll take some pictures or whatever. I'm going to go see on Thursday because I'm a huge nerd, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I have already bought my tickets. Cannot wait to see that. So I'm going to hit the training. I'm going to go home and shower real quick, and then I'm going to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp. Taking the dogs to see the vet on Friday. So that's going to fucking cost. It never ends. But you know what? I'm working hard. I'm Ubering. We're going to get this done. I'm just going to keep making money and paying for things till I'm dead. That's how it works. All right. I have nothing planned for this weekend. I feel like I've had conversations about, people like, hey, what's going on? But usually I have tastings. They haven't posted anything for July yet, and that can change quickly. But as it stands, my weekend is wide open. So I know I've got some friends in town. My listener and friend Tiffany is in town. She reached out to me today. We were actually going to get together this evening, but plans changed again. She doesn't get into town very often, and she's got a new kiddo. So I know her family and her visiting, relatives and stuff like that want to see it. So we're going to try to reschedule for later in the week. So that's, up in the air. I'm going to try to sit down and do a podcast with Brian. All those things are not confirmed yet. So, it's funny. I can look at my calendar and go, oh my God, my weekend is open. I can look at that on Tuesday. Come Thursday, it's a very different looking weekend. But as it stands, I got a little, that's a pleasant surprise that I have right now. All right. It's a minor annoyance that I don't know. It's a minor pleasant surprise that I'm looking at an open calendar. So let's get those maps in, guys. Minor annoyance, pleasant surprise. Do it. Do it. And as always, guys, send me an email. What's going on with you? Contact at onemanpodcast.com. This week there's no emails, so nothing to read. You're on the home stretch of this podcast, guys. I'd love to hear from you as always. So let me know how you're doing. If you guys have heard anything I've said today, that maybe, you can relate to, like, 'cause you've tried it, if you've got any hints or tips or recommendations for me, with some of the other shit that I'm talking about, right? What do you do? Do you save money or do you eat poorly? Like, what is it? Well, that's one and the same. Do you spend and eat healthy, or do you fucking save and eat shitty? Have you guys found any tips or tricks? that kind of shit. So thank you, as always, to my partners, portablepress.com, absolutecomedy.ca, Summersby, and dk.com/ca in Canada, dk.com in the States, and just dk whatever, wherever else you are in the world listening. As always, just on the final little home stretch, I will just say, guys, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Get engaged with my partners, too, if you want to see them send in more contest stuff and prizes. I can't wait to get in your hands. In the meantime, go live your life. I'm going to go live mine, and I will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for listening.